Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. So this is it, the basically the ultimate streamer video that you need to watch. This is the blueprint for the best audio streamer in the world. This is all the information you're gonna need to build it and the settings for it. And there might be some small pieces of information that I haven't included. You can still figure that out by yourself. I'm just telling you where to look. These are scattered pieces on the market, and I've just done what I'm good at, and that's finding the scattered pieces of the really good stuff that speaks very well together at a very, very high level. It's been a long time finding all of these pieces. It's taken a lot of lot of time. We've been through a lot of tests, me and my friend, especially my friend. But we believe that this is basically the end destination of streaming. It can, of course, at some time get better, but the reason why this is the best streamer is because we're not dealing with one little box with a touch display that's supposed to do all the magic. We're basically creating a sort of environment that that basically overrides the amplifier, the DAC, the speaker, which usually are the three big factors in a system. Of course, also the room and perhaps some other stuff. So here you are. This took a long time to figure out. So I'm just going to scroll through it slowly, and you can just pause it. And yeah, I suggest that you up the resolution, make it full screen. There's a lot of information here, a lot of information. And I've gone through this list like hundreds of times, rewriting stuff. This really took me a long time to figure out. I would like to see, my motivation for making this video is I would like to see this as a standard. I just feel that the source material that we have currently on the market is nowhere near this as a standard, and I would like to see this as a minimum standard for sound, because it just makes it so confusing dealing with all of the other gear on the market if we don't have this cemented as a standard. So yeah, I'm bringing it to you guys now, all the scattered pieces. And there's some really interesting settings here that I've figured out. That also took a while. Almost lost my mind trying to figure those things out. And both of my friends helped me with this. So I kind of appreciate that a huge part. And one day I will probably own something that's very similar to this when I get a bit of extra money. So as you can see, this is page 4 out of 19. And there's some really interesting things to think about regarding the settings that a lot of people don't really realize. And very exciting. So basically, I'm a 16-bit 44 kilohertz guy. I want to set everything to that. Sometimes even downsample to that. Not always, but basically just leave it at no change, and then keep it at this setting here in Windows or in Linux, Audify Linux. And JRiver, that's the best quality sound that I've heard. You could probably use Kodi or Rune or whatever. my best experience is with JRiver. I think that is also the cheapest experience. It's very good. JRiver also works great with Audiophile Linux, in case you wondered. Yeah, lots of different sound settings here you probably didn't think about. And yeah, you want to disable those enhancements. We're about halfway through the document now. And yeah, deactivate all those equalizers, filters, whatever you've got in, plugins. Yeah, and in the end, if you could use Audiophile Linux, that's really gonna set the music loose. And I still prefer Audiophile Linux instead of Windows, even though Windows can get pretty damn good, you know. But yeah, I don't know why, but sometimes I write Uptown Audio and Uptone Audio. I don't know why. Just in case you guys were wondering. That's what happens when you're so creative. You just kind of, you know, you're just producing so much content, you just can't really keep track of all these things. Okay, and lots of good stuff here, like this here. Really good tip for you guys. Deactivating hardware acceleration. I found that to be a really, really good tip. And YouTube in connection with Chrome. Yeah, also mentioning the audiophile switch. That's not necessary, but in the end, perhaps you might want to do that. Yeah. And yeah, for those people that absolutely have to use Wi-Fi, I tried an app called Gizmo that talks with JRiver, so you can have this on your phone, and yeah, you can look through all of your artists, change the song there so you don't have to get up. I strongly suggest skipping that if that's possible, just to keep the sound as untainted and original as possible. And yeah, a little extra treat for you guys. See, finally found out what my friend had, what kind of receiver he had. Yamaha receiver here. It's actually older than I thought. So and I looked inside of it. It's not really that great an amplifier, so I'm still to this day in shock in regards to the quality that comes out of this amplifier. I remember listening to it the first couple of times, and I was just like, yeah, right, good luck bringing that up to anything that's just close to good sound. And then later on I was like, damn, you know, now it's even better than my own amplifier. But yeah, it's the streamer, and everything around it that makes it that good. Okay, it's incredible. And the funny thing about this, I'm just gotta tell you guys something fun. If you start using a really good DAC outside of this and feed it through the RCA ports, you're losing a lot of quality, because suddenly that internal RCA conversion of signal, it just sucks a lot of energy, and you're just losing a lot of that magic. Yeah, it can still sound pretty good, but we put an AudioNote DAC 2.1 signature on it, and it was definitely the best DAC that we ever tested on this thing. But the conversion process, converting the signal from the AudioNote DAC, which is a different religion of sound, that conversion process actually made it not quite as good as the built-in, way inferior DAC in this thing. So the built-in DAC in this is not really good at all, but because of the whole process, the SPDIF converter and everything else on the chain, suddenly, you know, it could easily beat the AudioNote DAC in the end. So I'm telling you guys, it can be done, but it's just so funny how much energy, how much time, how much money is demanded as soon as you have an outside brand box and it has to be connected with cables, and it has to go through the internal wiring. Wow, do you lose a lot of that streamer quality. You lose a lot. But if, of course, if it was an audio note CD player to an audio note DAC to an audio note amplifier, you would have that magical coupling, you know, because it's all basically the same type of parts speaking the same language. But just wanted to tell you guys, you know, an amazing story actually. It really shocked me, you know, really shocked me. But yeah, I also found this for you guys. See, the GPS box, just a regular non-hi-fi box that we use. And that's the price. You could find boxes that are better than this. And yeah, the cable that you use on this, the 50, 60, 75 ohm cable, it makes a difference. So also look into that in the end, you know. But he used like a 50 ohm cable, even though it was recommended that he used 75 or 60, I can't remember. But yeah, it made a difference. And the length of that cable made a difference. And then again, I found this for you guys. He used apparently this here, USB card, and apparently he also uses a network card. I wasn't really quite aware of this. To start with, he used the PC's built-in network card, but it makes a big difference doing it here. He told me that, especially when you got those LPSUs on it. So yeah, external good quality LPSUs, and just look, guys, we found them. They're here. These fit really well, and guess why? You know, it's basically the audio note story. Same brand, same sound. That's it, you know. And yeah, I've even written down here what's the difference sound wise between this and the Uptone audio. You can see here explanation. I've written it down. I've described it, and I'm probably more of an Uptone audio type of guy, a bit more of a hectic, violent type of sound, where my friend is a bit more into this JCAT, black level, ultimate understanding, ultimate time type of sound. But they're both fantastic in their own way, and you can mix them up, and yeah, just a lot of really good information about it here. And yeah, you have to get a separate LPSU. You can't really, as far as I know, you can't really use the Uptone audio or the JCAT ones on the streamer itself. Perhaps you can make that work. If you can make that work, how about you just comment on it? That would be nice. You know, we couldn't really make that work. So, but yeah, we used a bigger level Teradac box to do that. I even have a Teradac box on my own streamer, which isn't nearly as good as his. But just telling you guys that you can do that. Okay, Teradac is the company, and yeah, there might be some things that I haven't covered, specifics. I just can't give you more information than this because I don't have the equipment myself, but at least here, you know, at least you have the information here to find out for yourself, okay? And these are the other videos I was talking about that are related to streamers. I suggest you also go through those. They are really good, and especially this one here. This one isn't super popular, but yeah, a lot of people didn't really get that. But I think once the market understands how this works and rumor spreads, this video is going to be a lot more popular. Once you kind of have to do this to understand this type of sound. It's just completely different sound that you hear in the stores. You don't really hear this sound anywhere. And I've written it down, the 4-step plan to make it even easier for you guys. Okay, so you get the basic gear. It's most likely going to be in this price range here. This is basically everything. I might have missed something, so you have to look at the other videos. Yeah. Step 2. LPSU Pterodact box on the streamer. That opens a lot of potential once you do that. And then when you're getting closer to the end and you want the really big effect where it just basically beats everything in the world, you need this. Don't think that these standard LPSUs that comes with these boxes are any good. I mean, they might be better than a lot of other stuff on the market, but this makes a huge difference. Huge difference. And yeah, might be a bit difficult explaining to the wife that you have to buy 5 to 10 of those boxes, and they each cost around $1,000 to $2,000 or something like that. That can be difficult to explain, but yeah, that's kind of what you want to do to get the best sound. And this here, you know, a lot of the charisma, the flavor. If you don't have at least this level of sound ish, you know, I just personally think that it's a waste of time if you don't do that. But yeah, save it for the end, because once you've gotten step 1 and 2 in place, things start to react. So you get to know your amplifier, your speaker, everything around it so much more, and then these things just make a lot more sense. So yeah. A lot of good stuff here. And am I gonna come to... Yeah, we need to get this. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. And looky here. I recommend this PC here as a minimum. And this is about the current price in my country. I live in an expensive country, so this might be cheaper in your country. But things are expensive in Denmark. They just are. It's like living in an igloo and getting things shipped by air. Yeah, it's insane. But a PC like this, that's the absolute minimum I recommend. I recommend, you know, RAM that has better timings, better quality, hard disk here and there. But, you know, if you're going with this, it's a very good start. You're up there, you know. You can do a lot of good stuff, you know. Stuff really reacts here. And yeah, you know, there's a built-in PSU to start with until you can get a Pterodact, you know. You kind of need that. And there's a graphics card until you can figure out how to run without one. But you're basically covered here. This is basically everything that you need, and then that's like a random cabinet, and yeah, yeah. So and then this is what you could do. You could possibly get away with this more polite digital weak sound, which is a lot cheaper, you know. It's only $405. You can get away with it, but just know that once you start doing this stuff and you have some gear that's a bit inferior, a speaker that isn't that good, and it's missing the point, you know. It doesn't really get to be the best streamer in the world once you do these things, you know. You really need to, as a minimum, have these parts, you know. Higher level cache, more megahertz, better latency, more power draw. It could even, in theory, be an Intel processor on an Intel mainboard. In theory, we haven't really tried it yet. Well, we tried it to start with, and it was pretty damn good. But this got to a whole other level. But this was also several generations ahead in time, so you kind of have to figure that out for yourself. We know this for a fact that works, and yeah, more cache, more megahertz, it helps. better quality RAM. It isn't always about the specifications. It isn't always about the megahertz and the gigabytes of RAM and all of that. And yeah, the timings help. They do help, but essentially it's mostly about the quality of it. Is it industry RAM? Is it ECC RAM? Stuff like that. You know, you have to figure these things out. So, but here is the base you need. It's all about that base. No. Yeah. There's a lot of really good inside information here. That where inside I mean stuff that I had to use a lot of energy and money on finding out the hard way, the really hard way. Yeah. And again, you know, showing you the gear here. You need these boxes. You know, this as a minimum. Get this box as a minimum. Of course, this one is better, but if you're the impatient type that wants everything plug and play and you don't want to, you know, fiddle around with stuff, don't get this box. This box is driving my friend mad, because every time he turns off the power, he has to reset it, update it, and then flip the channels right and left and all kinds of things like that. So this isn't quite as good, but it's really good. And yeah, this is like 1.5 times better. A lot more black, deep, organic, natural. Yeah. And yeah, these are very important, as I also mentioned in the other videos. So as an extra bonus to you guys, it does actually sound pretty damn good. The jack, the Toslink, the SP-Diff directly from the sound card, from the main board. When you've reached this end destination, when everything's in place, it does actually sound pretty damn good. My friend told me this. So just know that. You might not even have to buy a headphone amplifier. You could possibly also still use a headphone 3.5 millimeter to 6.3 millimeter for a good audiophile headphone, and run it directly off your inferior motherboard sound card in the end. If you want to do that, you could possibly do that. It's just an extra bonus for you guys. So really a lot of hardcore information here for you guys. So we did it. This is basically it. When you've created a streamer like this, you've basically got the best source in the world. Now I haven't heard, I think, the last 2 models of AudioNote, so it might be better, it might be the same, I'm not sure. I'm definitely sure that it's going to sound different, but that's the only thing I can basically think of that could potentially beat this. I'm pretty sure that even the top turntable, rears, turntable, basses, players, I'm pretty sure they're not really up at this level. But again, I haven't made a direct A/B comparison, so I don't know. Because in order to have a really good rear, you need something typically like AudioNote, and we still haven't tested this on really high-end gear yet. So, but this is it. This is how you custom make your own top-end, basically end destination streamer. So enjoy it. And yeah, if you've got a bit of extra money and you don't want to go through this hard experience, which could take months, possibly years to perfect, I mean, dude, just, I don't know, take something like an AudioNote Cobra amp, which I haven't heard, but it has a built-in DAC, and then put something like, I don't know, an AudioNote CD T5 or 6 or something like that on it, and then it's probably around, I'm guessing, probably around the same level of sound. I'm just guessing, but yeah, that's the only thing I could guess is around this level. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really poured in a lot of hours into being as specific as possible. So like and subscribe. Have a nice day.